Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11 we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
So, the news broke yesterday, or the day before, about Bill Belichick not getting in on first ballot Hall of Fame. There was one of the beat writers that had a vote that actually wrote an article on why he did it. And seeing how Bill Belichick only missed by 10 votes, he needed 60, he got 50. It actually makes sense now. Look how many guys are in the last year of eligibility to get in the Hall of Fame. He decided to vote for those players instead of Bill Belichick because he knows Bill Belichick will get into the Hall of Fame. So that makes way more sense to me than just snubbing him due to the cheating scandals that he got convicted of. So think about that for a minute. Look at how many teams had guys in the last year of eligibility with a beat writer that had a vote, and they decided to vote their guy with last year of eligibility in. Corey Holt, Lee Greenwood, Lomas Brown, Billy Sims, all sorts of them. It makes sense to me. I don't know the list of the 10 guys that didn't vote for him, but let's face it, there's another 20 out there that didn't too. So a total of 30 guys out of the 80 did not vote for him. Because you got to have 75% or higher in year one to get in. You know who else didn't get in? Eli Manning. So miss me with Eli. If Eli Manning gets in and not Bill Belichick, it's wrong. Eli's not in. So that travesty is avoided. There's only been 3 first ballot Hall of Fame coaches to get in. It was Don Shula, Chuck Knowles, and Tom Landry. And yes, 100%, Bill Belichick deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he'll get in. But I understand now. It makes way more sense to me why he's not in. Because there was about 15 of those guys from different teams that were in their last year of eligibility. The other 15 people, that's just them being salty over Deflategate and Spygate. Peyton Manning got in his first year of eligibility. They didn't wait. He's in. He got in the same year that Calvin Johnson did. Smoking Dad! Good to see you this morning. I just wanted to put that out there because, let's face it, he's an 8-time Super Bowl champion as a coach, 2 as an assistant, 6 as a head coach. Let's not get it twisted. Bill Belichick will get in the Hall of Fame. Yes, Jason Hansen 100% should be in, Brent DeWitt. So after reading that article, I started thinking, how many other beat writers from other teams that had a vote felt the exact same way that this guy did? And it made a lot more sense to me that might have been where the 10 votes he needed didn't come from. Because there was 15 teams with guys in their last year of eligibility. And if that's the case, I get it. 100%. Calvin stopped being mad at the front office back in 2022. He is now a senior advisor and he also his medibles company has a contract with the Lions. He comes in and speaks to rookies every year. He that 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 was squashed in 2022. Absolutely, Jim Jackson. Just trying to put it out there why Bill Belichick is not in the Hall of Fame. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be spiteful. I'm not that guy. I agree. If I had a vote and there was a guy that had a sterling record with no problems on that list, and there's Bill Belichick with the cheating scandals, and especially a guy in his last year of eligibility, the guy in the last year of eligibility, like Torrey Holt, would get voted in, like Lomas Brown. Oh, it will be brought up again and again. We know that, MDE. But you know what? And Jim Jackson, this is just for you. There she goes. 100%. But I also agree with her for not wanting to give up the Thanksgiving Day game. I said make a compromise. Offer to Goodell that you'll offer to be on the road for one. Don't have to be the home team every time. I think 1 year home, 1 year away. That would eliminate a lot of things and a lot of stigma over Ford Field. What do you guys think about doing something like that? Still being a part of it, but have to be one of the road teams the next year. Home this year, road the next. Home this year, road the next. Still part of the Thanksgiving Day uh, tradition that the Detroit Lions started because no other team in the NFL wanted to do it. I didn't say it was about that. I said it was more about the last year of eligibility of players for beat writers. That was the article I saw by a beat writer. Uh, Timu Joe Rogan spoke about it. Right. That would be the compromise I would make with the NFL. Because what if that little conspiracy theory is true, and that's why the Lions have not been able to get past? And unfortunately, as long as the owners are making money, Goodell is going to be in there. Because in 1963, when William Clay Ford bought out the other members of that board to be the sole owner of the Lions, Pete Rozelle supposedly approached him about giving up the Thanksgiving Day tradition. He told him no. And the last thing he said before he walked out of his office was, good luck on ever making a championship again. And I'm not saying that's the reason why we're not in, but I'm just saying, if that is like some sort of standing order in the background of NFL offices to this day, this would be a way to remove that. If that conspiracy theory is true. Now, granted, that was heard by a guy that was heard by a guy that was talking to a janitor that used to work in the offices. um, it's not a contract expiration. It keeps getting extended the year before it's given up. And why? He's making the league money. There's a reason why Pete Rozelle was basically in till he almost died. Same with Paul Tagliabue. Let's not get it twisted. That's a lifetime job. You're making millions a year. That's a lifetime job for an NFL exec. They don't give it up easy. So don't get it twisted. We're up to 619 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure you share this out there to other Lions pages that you're a part of. Share this show out. Get it out there, because guess what? The more eyes that see it, the more eyes that come here, the closer we get to my goal. I wanted to do something for this season with Lions fans, but I don't know if there's enough interest. Um, American Best Cruise Lines made an offer where I get X amount of free rooms if we do a Lions one. What up, though, RBF Fred? I am doing fantastic. I'm just speaking in facts. As long as Roger Goodell is making these owners money, they're not going to fire him. But I do think they need to rein in the amount of control he has over rules. I think they need to rein over and get a set standard for punishments over things that happen. Well, at the same time, there's a rule, and it has to do with the extra point and using a tush push to get leverage over a line by pushing somebody into the line. And if you apply that across the board, the tush push should be illegal. And that rule went into effect in the 1940s to protect holders and kickers from getting killed. It's the NFLPA, the owners, and then the commissioner. Yeah, we stopped it 3 out of 4 times, but we didn't stop it once. And that once killed us. But by that time, our defense was gassed. Let's not get it twisted. And, everybody wants to go over the top free agents that are going to be available this coming year until after the 2-week free agency period in February starts, or at the end of February. And then in March 11th, when the actual free agency starts, I guarantee you about 20 of those top targets will be already re-signed by their teams. We know Trey Henderson's walking. Moonscar!
Moonstar Blade.
Oh, it's too quiet in here. I love doing this show by myself, but I don't like quiet. So we're going to do something here. Got to put this in the background. Right. He sounds like he should have been on Moonraker. I don't know. I'm going to say this right now. They're worried about getting an offensive-minded coach for Fernando Mendoza. Amen, Jim Jackson. But let's think back to a great a quarterback that came out of college to a bad team and had a new coach. And by year 3, he made the playoffs. Oh, that was Jim Schwartz with Matt Stafford and the Detroit Lions, was it not? We drafted him in 2009. That was a wash. I think that makes more sense. They've had so many offensive-minded coaches, and it hasn't worked. Get a good defensive-minded coach who can hire you a good OC. So better days. Vegas I think, has the 3rd most cap space this year. I think number 1 is the Giants. At the bottom of the league, It's all of us in the NFC North and a whole bunch of teams over the cap. And two of those being over the cap in our division, the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers. And of course, the Saints are over the cap because they kick the can down the road a little bit more every year. They had Carson Palmer. Was it Carson Palmer as the QB that year? Or was that? No, it was Kurt Warner. Was that during the Dennis Green era? Our problem was not converting on third downs. We converted third downs at a 30% less clip than last year, thus causing our defense to get gassed. I'm not saying it was our defense. It was just as much the offense as it was the defense was the problem this year. And that was because of our O-line. Last year, we were creating 4 yards of separation for our running backs. You know what we did this past year? 0.7. Less than a yard before they had contact. We need to establish the dominance of our O-line again. I'm just trying to be real here, guys. I have it turned down a lot. I thought I had it enough. That better? I just like the music. I gotta have something going. It is that time where I get to do MDE's favorite thing to say as a Lions fan to me in the show. And it's funny as hell. Ken Wisenhunt. Okay. And we did have a kick-ass defense. There it is. I was waiting for him to say it. I turned it down more. I hope it's good. Actually, he's put void years at the back of every contract. There's one on Goff's. There's 2 on Sewell's. There's 2 on Hutchinson. There's 1 on Jamo's. There's another one. He's used them on Decker. I'm trying to figure out how we didn't use them because I see that there's void years this year coming up on Reader's contract to keep that cap level down because we took about $3 million a year off and packed it up on 2 void years. So yes, we do utilize that tool. But yes, it's time to do a quick mock draft. So I'm not going to be paying much attention to the chat because I got to watch the draft on the screen. And here we go. There. I hope that's better because I can barely hear it in my headphones, but I'm just trying to do it for background noise. Caleb Luma went. I'm not taking that offer. I like it, but I don't like that. Ooh. So what do you think? Back to 30 and see what we get for offensive tackle, or do I go edge here? Let's see who's available. Offensive tackle. It's Caden Proctor at 23. Defense at edge. Cassius Howell, TJ Parker, RJ Messon, Zion Young. LT Overton is dropping in the rankings, guys. Until the combine, that's gonna happen. Sonny Styles is here at linebacker. Yeah, there isn't anybody up high there that I. Yeah, we use the void years a lot. That's how we keep the cap numbers down. That's why the APY doesn't mean shit with the Lions. I think I'm going to go Proctor. Let's see, 2 trade offers. Back 4 spots. I don't think that's going to hurt us. Come on, do it. Yeah, I'm not doing that one. There went Kilgore. That's okay. There went Aiden Fisher. That one hurt a little bit. Now 118 to 126. I'd lose that 7th-round pick. I don't like that idea. Hezekiah Massis. Light in the frame. It would be like drafting Ennis Rakestraw over again. I'm not taking him. Genesis Smith out of Arizona is 6'2 and 204. Safety impact score of 84.7. 6'2", 204 pounds. Range and the speed. I like him. I'm gonna take him. Now that I don't mind. One pick, go back 14, and get another one there. But if I do this, I'm not getting Tariq Sapp. And I like Tariq Sapp a lot. He's going to be at the Senior Bowl this week. So is this tight end, Tanner Koziol. God, that was fun last night, reading off the names from the All-American Bowl from last Thursday. That was a lot of fun. There he is, Ephesians Prysock, and he's supposed to be the best one. And there's Alzillian Hamilton. God, it sounds like a Key and Peele skit. Let's make Ephesians Prysock at 6'4" and 195 our corner. I like this guy, but we can get him later. I'm going to go in another direction here. Kendall Daniels on this pick. And I'm going to go offense, and I'm going to get our QB of the future, who's playing also in Jack Strand. Our backup QB of the future. Let me get that right. Not a starter. That guy, I like him. 6'2" and 228. He's playing this weekend too. So do I go Riley Nowakowski? Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to need a tight end. We haven't heard if Brock Wright's going to be back. These draft rankings were done by ESPN, by the way. So don't shoot me for how the rankings break down. Yeah, 5 years on Hutch. Oh man, it's hard to move up in this. The computer model isn't as easy to get along with. Tuning into baseball contract, going to be paying the top players 20 years after they were. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, Kyle Tucker, and all those guys. You reading that roster deserve 3 interpreters, closed captioning, and 2 Advil. Great job. Thank you. It was fun. You know, and then I read the Senior Bowl roster after, but I wanted to focus on that All-American Bowl because there were some guys in there that aren't playing in the Senior Bowl. It was hilarious. We had fun. The draft is in Pittsburgh, about a 10-hour drive away, maybe 12 tops, depending on traffic and road conditions at that time. So let's bring it in and see what we got. It's almost time for me to get ready for work. Boom, and here we go. The draft is loaded. We got Caden Proctor, Logan Jones, Genesis Smith from out of Arizona, Tyreek Sapp, edge out of Florida, Ephesians Prysock, the star of the Washington defense there, Kendall Daniels, the linebacker slash safety out of Oklahoma, but he's 6'5" and 242. He has grown into his frame. Jack Strand, a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback with athleticism and elite arm angles and arm talent. Just needs to work on his foundation. And Riley Nowakowski, the tight end from Indiana that also plays fullback and scored the touchdown in that game versus Miami. Mike McCrappy will be officially a Christian during the draft as the Steelers' new head coach and hope. Yeah, I want to see what they do in the draft this year because they haven't been since TJ Watt. Have they drafted great? They took Kenny Pickett over Tyler Linderbaum at 20 that year. They could have got Pickett in the second round. I think that was their biggest mistake. Yes, I agree. He does need to lose about 20 pounds. He needs to get down to about 349 at his frame. He's 366 right now. He needs to get around 249, 245. I agree he needs to lose weight. But you know what? Our strength and conditioning staff and our guys are all gym rats. I think they'll help him with that. We've seen it already. So I'm not as worried about guys having to cut weight as it is guys having to fill out. They got Will Howard. I think they're gonna bring Aaron Rodgers back another year and then let Will Howard have a little bit more control during training camp and see how he does in the preseason to see if he's ready to start. And you might see Aaron Rodgers do a bench tour as a final ride. How funny would that be? The guy I wanted is Caleb Lomu, but he went 2 picks before that. The only other guy I want is Francis Mauagawa, who might be a top 10 pick because he's that good of a left tackle for Miami. Spencer Fanu, I'm not as big on. His brother is a defensive end. I'm not high on him either. I like Tyreek Sapp. I love Kenyatta Jackson Jr., but I was talking about for NFL players with a coaching staff that preaches about getting in shape. There's a big difference there. You know, people need motivation to lose weight. I shed 100 pounds over a 2-year period of time. If he's on the bench, he'll stay healthy. He wasn't as beat up in Pittsburgh as he was with the Jets. Let's face it, that O-line's atrocious. I think Malik Willis ends up a Jet next year. That's just my prediction. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. It has been a great day. I'm going to stop the music now because it's time for me to go to work, and it's time for me to end my show the way I end it every day. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. And yes, I will be on Fire Up tonight. It'll be between 9:30 and 10 p.m., depending on whenever we get started. Stay warm. It's supposed to get colder and snowier over the next couple of days starting tomorrow. Yay! Driving to work and that stuff is so much fun. Have a blessed day, everybody.
Turn it up, it's that time again. Jeremy B. Lyons, he's your best friend. Every weekday, Evan, you know the vibe. He's shouting one ride with that rocket tribe. Rolling up the scene, light up that fire. Jeremy's in the booth, taking us higher. With a grin and a laugh, he's got the crowd in a blaze. Smoking at the haters in a rock star haze. The stories that inspire and riffs that will ignite. When one product goes, everything feels right. Jeremy B. lives every day at 11. Yelling one B ride like we're in rock heaven.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.